ho, 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 everybody, and happy continual Christmas. Welcome to the final video on this channel for 2023, that is. And in typical fashion, in normal fashion, it will be in form of a year in review. I hope that Christmas has been really nice to you, and that you will have really nice final days of this year. 2024 will be my 10th year in the vinyl community, so I will do some kind of celebration of that also, of course. So now let's stop looking forward and start looking back in form of a year in review. I do every year. The top 10 best findings of the year, which wasn't all that easy this year because 2023 were not the best year, I can say. The spring was, should I say, from January to March was very much so, was not all that good. Then April, May was good, June also. Summer was horrible, at least in comparing to how other summers have looked like. The autumn was pretty good actually, and then now the past months have been not all that good. On the other hand, these are the Christmas days, not all that much new record comes in then, so nothing else were to expect. But it hasn't been that the best year for record collecting for me this year. And take a look at the formats. This vinyl has been down very, very much. Hasn't been found that much vinyl as I usually do. But the CDs, on the other hand, has been rising to the top very big. It's been very much CDs that I've been finding this year. And when it comes to genres, the jazz, I haven't been finding that much jazz as I usually do. 70s, huge rise instead. So I think I found more jazz than, more 70s than jazz this year. Which is a little bit odd actually. Just as odd as it's not that usual that I find more CDs than vinyl during a year. So it's been a little odd year for record collecting this year. Can't speculate in whole eternity why that is. People not giving away records for free that much. Instead they want to sell it. Or stuff like that, economical crisis, I don't know. We can speculate on that how much we want, but I think it's better to go to the positive side, what I found and what was good about 2023. And while I'm at it also, let me give a huge thank you to the people that have given me these LTs this year. Of course, Shell from Norway, that has, as usual, brought me some really amazing, great stuff. Stuff that I always wanted, stuff that were very new to me. Norwegian stuff I never heard of, but giving me the chance to discover new music. And Doc Docus, who gave me a bunch of wrestling CDs, wrestling music CDs with entrance music and a whole lot of great stuff. So huge thank you to all who have given me these LTs this year. So let's start with the top 10 best findings of this year. And in the middle I will of course also have the usual little look at other great stuff that I found during this year with some screenshots of from previous vinyl CD updates. But let's start with number 10. And one of the groups that have been having a huge breakthrough in my collection. There are three bands that have been having their huge breakthrough in my collection. One of them is City Boy. The other one will be a little bit higher up in the chart. But also another band that I've been finding a whole lot. Not only finding, I've been getting them a lot of CDs with them by Cello, of course. And I'm also going to say that, as usual, last year, VCLTs are not counted in this chart, mainly because I don't want to choose which one of them are the best. I cherish all of the VCLTs I get equally, so I will not count VCLTs in this top 10 chart. But this band is Moody Blues, that I all of a sudden have a large collection with all of a sudden. Though this one I found in May in a car boot sale that were arranged on the parking lot of our of IKEA here in Sundsvall. And there I managed to find this one. Every good boy deserves favor. Normally, this is the most Moody Blues' most proggiest album, and normally that is not a recipe for success in my taste. But this was really good. It was fantastic arranged. It was so really good album. So I think definitely for that and for the breakthrough that Moody Blues has had in my collection, this album is number 10 in my top 10 of findings this year, because this is a really great album. Number 9 goes to an album that I wanted to get a hold of for so long. I had it as a cassette copy, and it was an album that was hard to get in the original. And I felt like this is such a great album. I really wanted to have an original copy of it. And this year I finally found it. The debut album from TLC, Ooh on the TLC Tip. TLC, who normally is a band that is connected with 90s relaxing, almost street soul. Here in the first album was more of a swing beat band with Ellie Reed and Babyface and also Dallas Austin doing the production. And some of these songs I remember when they came and they were played in Swedish radio, my jaw was down on the floor because it was so amazingly funky. And even though it could taste rap, but in this case it doesn't do anything. It is the girls are tough, they are charismatic, they are sounds like they're having a great time in this album. So this is a fantastic album. I like TLC's latest stuff also, but I think that this is their best album. So number 9. Previous years I managed to find at least one Jimmy Smith album a year, and that has led to a large collection of Jimmy Smith albums. But it has been really poor findings for the past years now. I haven't been finding all that much interesting Jimmy Smith albums at all. That ice was a little bit broken this year, even though it wasn't that big finding. But for me, it was a really great one. Maybe this is an opening for more Jimmy Smith in the future, when I found this 45 at number 8. Got my mojo working. and a classic, a Jimmy Smith classic that I have never seen on 45 actually. So it was really, really nice to find this Verve release, this 45 of this Jimmy Smith classic. Number 7 takes us to the record fair in spring, where I managed to find a bootleg and a jazz bootleg also, which I don't find all that often. Bootlegs normally is more connected to the pop music. But here I managed to find a very interesting bootleg of Fats Navarro and Ted Dameron and Anita Day called Fats Gang. Released on Telcrypt, a bootleg label that released only 2 albums actually. But both were bootlegs. And this is a concert, our concert live checks from 1948. Some of the dates are equal to a couple of CDs that I have, but there was only a few of these songs that I had on those CDs. So while this is a bootleg, it is not an unusual bootleg anymore. It has been found and released officially, but when this was released it was a bootleg still, and it's a great jazz concert with Ted Dameron and Fats Navarro, and this is a really great bebop session. This is pure bebop, and it's really nice to find it. Coming to number 6, and the other band, the third band that I mentioned that had its breakthrough in the collection this year, I managed to find 2 records by them. I'm talking about Mother's Finest. Mother's Finest, who is a funk group with a little rock in the edges, rock funk group, and I remember hearing Mother's Finest on Swedish radio when I was younger. And this year I didn't react all too much to it back then, but as the year has grown I realized that this was really great, and I managed to find this album with those songs, Mickey's Monkey and Baby Love. So amazing funky stuff, and I also found a live album by Mother's Finest also. But number 6, Mother Finest, Another Mother Further, are really maybe the funkiest album I found this year.
The first Noel, the angel did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east beyond them far. And to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both.
Number 5, and here actually we come to the final vinyls that I show. So what did I say? It has not been the year of the vinyl 2023. But this is some classic stuff with Duke Ellington that I managed to find in two separate fairs. It was only a week between. First, this magnificent Duke Ellington, Volume 1, 25 to 28, some of the earliest stuff with Duke Ellington. And then at the regular record fair, Duke Ellington, Volume 4, 1932. These are double album sets and released on CBS French label. And these are really, really great Duke Ellington that contains some stuff that is pretty ordinary, but a lot of stuff also that I never heard before. And especially this one is very, very interesting. Maybe one of the most interesting Duke Ellington stuff that I have, because it is containing, after all, some of his absolute best, some of his earliest and best stuff, actually. It is Ellington bands that I actually never heard of, like Duke Ellington's Washingtonians, Lonnie Johnson's Harlem Footwarmers, and some Ellington songs I never heard of. So these, number 5, Duke Ellington and some of his earliest recordings and most interesting recordings. Now number 4, we have an album that I also, 2 albums I wanted to have for very, very long. I said previous years that my collection of Marvin Gaye haven't been quite as big as I wanted. Because he's extremely expensive. So what do then? Well, then I can buy more cheaper Marvin Gaye. While this is not a vinyl, was not vinyls, it still were these albums in reissue, CD reissues, and it proves to be really, really great. So Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On and What's Going On these Motown Compact Classic. While the cover sleeves are, I would say, very, very boring. It looks extremely low budget, though it is released on Motown. It is still two fantastic albums. First, What's Going On? Rebellious, angry Marvin Gaye that sings about the state of the American society in the 70s. And then a much more cozier, love-searching Marvin Gaye in Let's Get It On, that sings about erotica, about sex, about love, in a very, very soothing way. So 2 fantastic Marvin Gaye albums that I finally managed to get a hold of. And as I'm not picky with the formats, I'm very happy to have them, even though they are CD reissues. Number 3, changing music style completely. This is an album that I managed to find at the thrift store here. And it is an album I found for $1, while it was worth a whole lot more. I'm talking about Swedish organ player Bo Hanson, mostly famous outside of Sweden for his Lord of the Rings music. But this is something called Mellanväsen. I'm not going to try to translate that, but these are some Swedish folk music style on organ. Normally this is worth only on CD $20. Even more on vinyl. I managed to find it for $1. So extremely happy to find this interesting, really interesting piece of music on CD. Now we are getting close. Now we are in the top spot. We are at number 2. And there we have something from another fair, a nostalgia fair that was in the early autumn. There I managed to find this that was sealed. And I'm talking about the Deep Purple Perfect Strangers Live on 3 discs. Very, very interesting. Where 2 discs contains music and the 3rd disc is a DVD. And this was sealed. I found it for $2. And really, really amazing to find. And also containing one of my favorite Deep Purple songs, Knocking at Your Back Door. Along, of course, with another one of my favorite, Smoke on the Water. So number 2, Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers Live, 3 CD disc. And now, finally, number 1. And I guess it can't be anything else. It has to be Depeche Mode, Memento Mori. Their album, tribute to Andy Fletcher, with Martin Gore and Dave Gahan that have done songs here that are among the darkest they have done, lyric-wise. But finally, in their final song, Speak to Me, actually see the light in all this darkness. And it is very, very great produced. It is a very, very, very great, fantastic CD. And I hope this is not the end for Depeche Mode, that Dave and Martin continue with Depeche Mode like this, and continues to do great stuff. But this was a fantastic album, a really, really amazing comeback when I thought that this is it with Andy Fletcher. There would be no Depeche Mode because Dave and Martin has had their differences, and Andy was a little bit of their the glue between them. But it proved me wrong, and I was so happy about it. So this is my best finding of this year, naturally. A fantastic, fantastic new Depeche Mode album, Memento Mori. So that was my 2023. Now, as the year hasn't been, as I said, that good, let's hope that 2024 gets better, and that some more interesting stuff will be found during this year. 2024 is an unwritten book. Let's write it. And that completes the year 2023. So until next time, I hope that each and every one of you has a really happy new year. And see you in 2024.